And away we go.
And this is episode 23, part 3. And we're kind of, sort of, but not exactly moving away from politics by talking about movies. And the reason why I say kind of, sort of is because these definitely have a political tinge to them. Steve is going to talk about them, and so he's going to do most of the talking because my happy ass didn't bother to see these serious movies, and mostly what I saw was bad sequels, good sequels, and oh my god, if there's another Jurassic Park movie, oh my god. Anyways, so
Yeah, I generally don't go to the movies. I go to the movies all the time, but I generally don't go to the movies to see sequels or any of the blockbuster movies.
That kind of thing.
Not that I don't watch those movies on occasion. I certainly will or do. Less and less often, especially any of this Marvel world stuff or any of this stuff that's just it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. I'd rather go see, some classic from the 50s. I go to Austin Film Society all the time, and I'm watching all sorts of movies, all kinds of independent movies. There's just too little time to go and rehash some of this shit and watch this stuff that's just kind of cotton candy. So anyways, I watched, I wanted to bring up 3 movies specifically because of their poignancy, how poignant they are to the time. And it's probably why these movies were made, in all honesty, by these directors. The first one I wanted to bring up was One Battle After Another. And I think that, this is from that director, After Another. I'm just going to pull up something right here real quick. I'm sorry to keep people fucking here. But I'm forgetting that guy's name.
The director?
The director, yeah. But he's done Paul Thomas Anderson. So yeah, he's done a shit ton of movies. So he's done a bunch of different movies. Just bear with me. Licorice Pizza was one of his one. Inherent Vice, The Master, There Will Be Blood.
Oh, There Will Be Blood
yeah. Magnolia.
Magnolia. That's
Hard Eight.
Right.
So I think his biggest.
Oh, Punch Drunk Love. Oh, yeah. Okay.
His biggest
I'm beginning
hits.
to get the feeling.
His biggest hits are probably There Will Be Blood, The Master,
and Magnolia. The Magnolia was pretty big.
Yeah, that was big. They're all very big movies. Licorice Pizza is one of his lesser known movies of 2021. But anyways, brilliant film director, and so he makes this most recent movie, One Battle After Another. So so essentially this movie is released in September, marking a second adaptation of Inherent. Yeah, so basically, I don't know, man. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, but so this is, talking about resistance and going back to the 1960s is where this all kind of starts, and the movements of civil rights era and how some of that stuff got violent, and then fast forward to the future, and how some of that stuff kind of dissipated over the years and got put in the background, and then the resurgence, recently with Black Lives Matter and what's happening today, and taking a look and critiquing some of the stuff of the past and some of the methods that were used that were not very productive. And, kind of, I think one of the major critiques of the movie as well was that, for the white guy in this movie was just a pretty incompetent buffoon who wanted to be helpful, but it was really up to the minority segment of the population to take control and charge of the situations. The black women and in the case of Benicio del Toro's character, the Hispanic guy, and they basically saved his ass a bunch of times. But anyways, it's a brilliant movie. I totally recommend watching it. If I'm not doing it justice and telling you like what the hell's going on, because for whatever reason my brain's not working anyways. I mean, the political points, when you just look it up, were about for this one, not Begonia. That's the next one I'm going to bring up. Let's see what it says here. What they political conflict and authority, ideology, systemic neglect, all kinds of stuff. But one thing I do want to mention about this movie, there's a character in this movie played by Sean Penn, right? Called Sergeant Lockjaw. And if you look at Gregory Bovino, of the guy in ICE who's in Chicago right now leading these guys, it's like identical. They look like this, like the way he walks, the way he moves, the way he talks, his mannerisms. I wouldn't be surprised if they fucking took that dude as a case study of, and if they didn't, it's just hilarious how they nailed that fucking guy or the character of it. And one of my favorite lines, I'm gonna bring up one of my favorite lines of that movie, and I apologize for not doing such a good job right now of like kind of dissecting this movie. And any other day, I probably could have give you a good 20-minute spiel about how fucking awesome this movie is. But for whatever reason, my brain is just tired right now. I just don't even want to. I'm not even thinking. So I feel bad about.
Maybe it's the burger. I don't know.
Maybe you could be right. But right now, I'm just not
struggling a little.
I'm
bit more
struggling
than normal,
more than normal to try and like articulate what because I have a million ideas on this movie and I'm just fucking having on bullshitting. But go watch the fucking movie and you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so this Lockjaw character, at the end of the movie, right? He wants to get in with these guys, right? And at the end, they're gonna. I don't want to, but I'll just say this. One of his last lines was in the movie is, "I got reverse raped."
I guess I gotta see the movie. That's all I gotta say. I guess
this
I gotta
is
see
like
the movie.
Something a Republican would say.
Yes, it is.
I got reverse raped.
Which is nonsensical and almost insulting, except for the fact that, like you say, it's a very
something Trump would say. Like
typical. It's a not just.
It's a MAGA line.
It's a Republican typical and very MAGA typical. Yeah.
I got reverse raped, which I thought was one of the most brilliant. And if you understood the context of what I'm saying, what happened to this guy when he said it, you're gonna fall out of your fucking chair, either in disbelief or laughter, or they're like both. Stunned. But then you'll see what the message is behind that about when you're the person, you're the one doing the fucking damage and then reversing it. Like we said, everything's a reverse with these people. I got reverse raped. So
okay, like I said, I need to watch the movie just so I understand that
so you can see that line.
And if I get to the end and I don't understand it, it's like, oh crap, now I gotta watch the movie again.
It's fucking pure. Right, it's totally obvious what's going on. And then the second one I want to talk about is Begonia. And this movie, once again, I'm just going to like make a very, very broad overview. This is an indictment on capitalism, on conspiracy, on reality, and all these other things that are very, important topics right now in this, what's happening in America today. And then the third one I wanted to talk about was the new Eddington movie. And that's the same director who did Beau Was Afraid when he had Joaquin Phoenix in that one too. And this is, and if you understand that director too, his stuff is pretty whack. Ari Aster. This one again is about about capitalism. It's an indictment on capitalism and about, I would say, heavily indictment against male fragility. And none of this stuff would have happened if it wasn't for, this guy's insecurities. Like it's about capitalism and how evil it is and all these other things. But if it wasn't for male insecurity, none of this stuff would have happened. Right. That happens in the movie. Yeah. Like it all stems from the male insecurity in the start is what I got out of the movie, regardless of how deep it goes into how the system is just so freaking violent, and how they've infiltrated it, and all these movies kind of touch on media and and propaganda and deceit and all the things that are happening today. So if you haven't seen these movies, I highly recommend it. I apologize for doing such a bad review right now. My brain is dead. And if you have seen these movies, you're probably like, dude, what the fuck? You're fucking butchering this shit. But I'm really weak right now. Any other time, I probably would have gone off really well on this.
But pick one and watch it. That's what
I would say. Watch all three at some point
yeah.
in the near future. Look, I think all three of these might be on HBO already. I know two of them are. I know as a fact that one, Battle After Another, and Eddington are on HBO right now. And I know Begonia is out on streaming. I'm not sure exactly what platforms, but you can see all three of these movies outside the movie theater. And I highly suspect that these movies will be awarded heavily at the end of the year, coming next year. They're going to win a lot of it. These three will win a large number of Academy Awards you watch. So yeah, that was I just wanted to bring those up as a movie buff, as somebody who studied film, new media. Film was pretty much my focus. I'm just completely doing a horrible job right now, and it is what it is. So.
Yep. So
as far like you wanted to talk about something?
No, actually, I think we're just gonna yeah, do yourselves a favor and take in some more serious films.
Not to say that it's not good to go see something.
Yeah,
I like some of these animations that are really heartfelt. Like some of those even get into the political realm, though. If you watch like Flow, if it's not political, it's psychological.
Right.
It's about this is going back a few years, like that B movie about autonomy and individualism, and all these movies really have some really strong messaging. Some of the good ones do. Yeah. And I'm not talking about some of this Disney shit that just wants to like keep the hierarchies and the bullshit going, but yeah, and even some of those can get a little have some good messaging to in some areas, but a lot of the independent ones, some of these other animation company stuff, they have some really nice, brilliant movies that are kind of family friendly, not like Begonia, which is so beyond the fact that the storylines and the messaging, and this is what all I talked about, these movies are fantastic on every level. And the cinematography, the pacing, the music, the sound, all the things that a cinema buff might really appreciate if you're into that kind of stuff. Even if you don't even like the story, you're going to be fascinated by the directing, and the directing incorporates all those things, but and everything else, the technical aspects involved with what makes a movie great, as opposed to just good. And yeah.
Okay, actually, I was gonna dip over to music, so I'm gonna take about 2 minutes. Hopefully about 2 minutes.
Okay.
First, just a reminder that Spotify is using it, or rather, ICE is using Spotify to recruit. So if you can possibly be persuaded to move over to a different platform, we don't want to help with that. Other thing. Most of the platforms, Spotify, YouTube, whatever, they will show you new music. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of your favorite artists that have been around forever, they're putting out not just new music, but good new music. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this on one of our podcasts or not, but Men Without Hats put out a new album about a month ago. It actually sounds pretty good.
I haven't even heard that name in forever.
Yeah, I know. It's deliberately a throwback. The name of the album is I Love the 80s. The first song is I Love the 80s. And it sounds like, their classic stuff.
Right.
These are the guys who did Safety Dance. That's mostly what anybody knows. But damn, that was a huge hit back in the day. And the other thing,
I wasn't a fan of them then. I thought I would be a fan today.
But the thing is, there are a lot of people, and they're not even necessarily wrong, who like to complain and say, "Oh, there's no good new music and whatever."
There's tons of good new music.
There is tons of good new music, and there are a couple things. you can find new music by people you already know, and you can find new music by people you don't know, and you can find old music that you never found out about before because it's easier than ever to do. Almost everybody watching this probably pays 10 to 20 bucks a month for one or more streaming services that allow you to listen to basically just about anything. And I do mean that. Like, I've followed before things where it's like, oh, this album, I couldn't get it. You give it a couple months or a couple years. Oh, now that whole catalog is out there. They are adding, they are doing everything they can to make sure that everything that's ever been recorded is available for that 10 bucks a month that you're paying right now, or 12 or whatever it is. That's not my point. And so take advantage of it. Instead of complaining about music, find some stuff that you haven't heard that is in the genre or by the artist or whatever that you are familiar with.
Look, every older generation has said that the music coming up is crap. It's not like every thought rock and roll was crap, like either their parents and then their parents. And I don't know. Some of it I think is crap, but some of it's good. And, some of the stuff that's been around, the styles have been around for a while, has gotten watered down to absolute crap. Some of it, but some of it still remains good. But with any kind of music, that's what's going to happen. And then people are slow to adopt new ways of creating or thinking about music. So, if it's not rock and roll with a guitar, well then, look at, people were complaining about Pink Floyd using synths and even Bob Dylan using an electric guitar. Yeah. And like now it's with, obviously with AI, it's very problematic, but even with anybody who's like a DJ who's making music, they're just sampling and putting things together, but they're still using equipment and doing something like, that's not, at what point does it get so watered down that who's being the artist? And even Pink Floyd addressed that issue. And we talked about this in the past too. I don't want to get into all that. But I think that, what it is I'm not used to that. I don't like it. That's not what I like. And they just won't get out of that rut. I know guys my age, girls my age, they're still listening to the same shit they listened to in high school. It's like, did you ever fucking grow up? Or a band that's hasn't put out an album in 20 years, or even if they do, maybe they'll listen to that, but they won't listen to anything new because it's all garbage. It's like, no, it's not. So, good shit is good shit. A good artist can make good art with any fucking media. It doesn't matter what they use. If they're good and it hits home to somebody or to them or to whoever else, and it transcends what it is, well, then it's good to somebody, so what is art? You get all that, but if it transcends the sum of its parts, the artist doesn't even get to decide what art is. It's sometimes it's the perceiver. Is it more than just this? What is it doing emotionally and psychologically to me? Duchamp.
Well, and it's like there's the good and the bad. The bad is that not everybody's listening to the same thing, and the good is not everybody's listening to the same thing. So you can find. What you like. Yeah.
So there's good music out there. And anybody who's just stuck in their old shit is just one of these old farts. So anyways, or just won't try to, get outside of their world. Then the whole thing with these streaming services, Spotify is extremely problematic. I've been on Spotify for years. I started off, with this, which was also, a problem for artists when I was just, Napster and LimeWire and all this, and I was just fucking ganking MP3s without even thinking about it. But I do go to a lot of concerts, and I buy.
Well, and that's the thing is, the best thing you can do for an artist in today's environment is a concert ticket and a
how many concerts have I been to this year?
You've been to a bunch, and I haven't been to as many. I don't think.
And I see a lot of movies at the theater too.
Right.
So I don't feel as bad when I'm streaming this shit, and when I graduated out of Napster and all that, then I had this thing called what was it called for a while? Then I got off that, and then now it's Spotify. But I know that there's SoundCloud and there's some of these other ones that are just as good. I would have to take my catalog and move it over. I think you can, but I also know that these are just as bad and sometimes worse in some ways. So if I were to do that, I'd have to really do deep dive.
Well, that's the reluctance mostly comes from the fact that, like you said, for the most part, you're going to have to manually repopulate your
I think
service.
There's ways around that, but
there are ways around it. But
why jump? This isn't. I don't think it's. Like Musk taking over X egregious insult to my sensibilities that I can't even stomach Spotify. Like, yeah, they have an ice commercial, so it's fucking CB. Like, that doesn't really jolt my psychology as much as Musk. I don't.
Oh yeah, no, that I jumped off.
That's why I
Twitter,
had
yeah,
like.
yeah.
Look, it was easy for me. I will admit that, like, because I didn't have like I had this like couple hundred like whatever. I had nothing. Like goodbye, whatever. But for some people, it was a fucking serious issue. For me, it was a non-issue, and it was so easy to get the fuck out of there. But I don't think Spotify is the same in my mind. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to look.
Well,
like you said,
the other interesting thing with what's going on.
But
with
then if I go
Spotify,
into one of these others, are they any better? I'm like,
well, on that one issue, they're better, but not necessarily on the other issues. I mean, like when it
what do they pay in the artist?
when it comes to pay out to the artists, the majority of them are not really that much different from one another. I mean,
hey, if you got something you want to put in here, please do, and tell me where I can go. That's actually a little more ethical.
Yeah,
I'll look into it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was pretty much it. So.
Yeah. So if we don't see it till next year,
if we don't see it until next year, then we will.
Right.
You know, catch
I
next
think
year.
on the next one, if we don't have any super major topics, at least the very last topic, on the next time you see us, it's going to be a year in review. So we may have one more before the end of the year, and if not, it'll be the beginning of the year, and we'll wrap up 2025. A lot of the shit we talked about is the same fucking shit rehashed, just different day, same story, slightly different slant. Sometimes we repeated the same shit over and over again. But you know,
and some of it because there's a slightly different change, and some of it there's not much of a change, but you're not listening, or people aren't listening, or somebody's not listening.
Look, we've been meeting for these brunches for like going on 2 years soon, or maybe longer.
Well, we're doing the recordings about a year, and the brunch is about 2 years. But yeah,
about 2 years. So it's going on 2 years that we've been meeting. When Trump got elected, we decided that we should start recording this shit, baby, and putting this out there just to see. It was right around that time, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, I didn't realize that was the
impetus. That was when he got elected, and I was just like, man, something's got to be done. Just sit at home. I just can't fucking sit at the goddamn fucking car.
Well, in between this and you going out to the protests and making sure that we vote, and that's about it. But that's a lot. That's a lot.
Look, it's not enough.
Well, no, it's not. But it's a lot more than a lot of people are doing.
I don't know. And it's not. I'm tempted to get myself a bullhorn and go out there, but we'll see. Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Okay.